Hey Saber fans, this is graypaladin here with a review of the Saberforge Eco Saber, the Defender. The website states 2 to 4 weeks lead time. Mine shipped closer to the 2-week mark. I believe it was maybe 1 or 2 days after 2 weeks, and then it had finally shipped. So it was on the lower end. That's pretty good, especially for Saberforge, because they tend to take a while to get some items out. But this saber came with a wall charger and cable, 2.1mm recharge port. You can also just use the USB and plug it into any item of your choosing, or you can plug it directly into the charger and plug that into the wall. The saber also came with an Allen wrench, so you can attach and detach the blade. Also a user's guide, and this is nice. You can type in the website here and it'll take you to the user manuals for all of their tiered sabers, or even easier, just scan the QR code here and it takes you directly to the manual. You click on what tier you have, whether it be Eco, Veteran, Champion, Hero, and it gives you all the instructions of how to operate the saber. So this is really nice to have. Also saves packaging, just one card and everything's in one spot. Nice and easy. Also here on the back side, I find it helpful to leave reviews. I do. So if I get a saber, whatever my views are on that, I leave a review on the website to help those who are looking at getting these sabers. And of course I have my channel as well. You get your choice of blade. You get the V4 Infinity blade. I went with an 18-inch because I wanted to use this for another saber for a staff. Their blades now, I notice, have these has this threading on the inside. So if you look closely, the diffusion film only comes down to here, and then this point here has threading, and that is there because they're now doing this thread-in system where they actually screw the LED directly into the blade to make it brighter for the thin necks and also for their NeoPixel sabers. And now I notice that they're doing rounded tips on the blades. Before, they used to use these bullet tips, which I personally prefer more than rounded tip, but that's where it is now, rounded tip blade. And it is a heavy grade, so you can do it with that as well. Now let's get into the dimensions of the saber. This is the Defender. And this little saber here packs a lot. You get a lot of bang for your buck on this one. So from the base of the pommel to the tip of the emitter, it has a length of 10.5 inches. And even though it is 10.5 inches, it can still be a two-handed saber, but also a very comfortable one-handed saber. It has a diameter of 1.3 inches, a blade depth of 1.9 inches, just shallow of 2 inches, and it's still plenty deep once you put the blade in to hold it in nice and stable for dueling. Has a resonance chamber for the speaker of 1 inch, and there's some nice things about this these pommels now, which I'll get into later. And it has a weight of 1 pound 1 ounce. So this is a nice sidearm to have, I think. So let's get some close-ups and look at the aesthetic of this saber, because there's a lot going on with this saber as far as convenience goes. So it kind of has a clan saber vibe looking at these rings around the emitter, and most of us like windows on the emitter, but this one doesn't have any windows. But you don't miss it because the emitter is so nice, and it has just a nice simple, useful look to it. The Jedi are supposed to be humble, and I think this really kind of displays that. We have a nice black anodized choke point here. This feels very good, and when you're swinging the saber, or spinning the saber, this is probably going to be your preferred grip right here. And because your grip's going to be so high, it does give you enough room here on the bottom for that second hand, like I was saying earlier. Primarily a one-handed saber, but easily a two-handed saber, especially if you have small hands. I have very long fingers and big hands, so if I can comfortably hold this with two, anyone else can as well. Looking at the switch section, we have this rectangular box that kind of goes all the way around from side to side. And then on the top, we have are screws that hold the switch section in place. In the rear, we have a retention screw that holds the electronic chassis in place as well. Now, what's nice about this is you have this black elongated oval here, which kind of conceals the recharge port a little bit, and I like that very much. Looking at the switch, which is illuminated, red illuminated activation switch, you have these parentheses on either side of the switch. And the switch is slightly recessed, which is nice. When you're spinning the saber around, you don't accidentally bump it, but it's not so deep in there that you can't activate it when you want to. A band around these parentheses goes all the way around from each side of the parenthesis to the other. And now we get into the body of the saber. This body is quite nice and comfortable. You notice that these two screws here that hold the switch in place are semi-concealed in the flutes of the saber, so that's nice. It doesn't necessarily just pop and jump right out at you. And if you're looking at it from this angle here, you can't even see the screws at all, so that's nice. You have these flutes going around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you think, oh, there's an edge there like all the previous Eco Sabers. No, don't have to worry about that with this saber. Saberforge did a great job with this generation of Ecos, where everything is smoothed out, everything feels like it has a good grip without scratching or cutting or doing any type of damage to your hand. As soon as you touch it and pick it up, it feels good. And I did a live stream with Darth Paradigm's Illuminated Blades, and I'll put a little card up here so you can check that out. It was a fun live stream where we did something that you don't commonly see, and that is unbox a lightsaber live in front of the audience. So that was really fun with him. He got the exact same Defender, but his was weathered in the finish. You can kind of already see mine.
Yeah.
And she is
New saber
revealed.
time.
And there she is. So please check out that live stream so you can see both those sabers and just seeing us having a really good time together talking about Star Wars sabers and, of course, drinking some beer. May the force be with us, my friend.
What?
Getting down into the pommel, just above that we have this black line that goes all the way around, this black ring, and then you have a wider one here. Now, once you get past that thicker line, then we get into the actual pommel, where you've got this almost UFO saucer section here on the very bottom. And again there, perfectly aligned, smoothed out, no edge there. And once I remove the pommel, this is one thing that I really like about this new generation here. It actually has a permanent vented screen in the pommel there. So really gives good sound, good venting, and it's not going to go anywhere. No damage or risk to your speaker. And right there is the speaker. It's a bass speaker, 24 millimeter. Now let's compare this to one of the Gen 3 Ecos, and you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes to the pommel. So here, if I remove the pommel, they use these mesh screens, and these mesh screens are removable. And if you're not careful, this could fall out or bend, and now you don't have any protection to your speaker. So this is a nice change that Saberforge made on the Eco Saber. Something else to note, that these Eco Sabers do take LGT electronic cores, and before they did not have the smooth swing. Saberforge kind of had their own electronic arrangement with LGT, and honestly it wasn't that good. Didn't respond very well. It wasn't smooth swing. You didn't get multiple colors. You only got one color that you chose, and you didn't get to choose the font. Then they got into another generation where you got the Crimson, Viridian sound fonts and gunmetal, but again, no smooth swing. Now they've changed it so that it is smooth swing, and you do get the 9 fonts like the Dooku and General Kenobi and so on and so forth. Now before, the way it was designed, not all of the cores were compatible to be able to swap out to put in, let's say, a Profi or something like that. And the reason why is here you see this very wide space between the recharge port and the switch. Well, if you bought a core, guess what? It wasn't going to fit because the recharge port and the switch were very close together. Well, now Saberforge has made that adjustment where it can take just the standard LGT cores because they now have put that recharge port close to the switch. See the difference right there? You have this wide gap in space between the switch and recharge port here, and now very minimal space there. So all of these new Ecos can take any of the Profi cores and things like that. And LGT Studios is also offering electronic cores with Golden Harvest, so that can up the game for your Eco Saber if you want. Let's go ahead and power this on. Press and hold.
Power on.
One adjustment I really like about this is all of the menu voices are very clearly articulated and you can understand what they're saying. Before it was just power in. I don't know what power in is, but it's not saying power on. This says power on, so it's very clear to understand what's going on with the saber. One press to activate. Again, this has Eco Smooth Swing. Very responsive, well, as responsive as it can be for a budget saber. Let's insert a blade so we can see more of the colors and the effects. One thing to note is that these Eco Sabers do come standard with a blade plug. You can choose to upgrade to another, or you can just do the standard blade plug here, and it can be just the regular silver, or you can also get it weathered included. If you do black, gold, or any of the other designs, that is an upcharge, which I believe is $5.99. But honestly, the basic plug works just fine, looks good, and it works. So, putting in a little stubby, because this is not about the demo, it's about this hilt and some of its features. So again, one button to activate. You have two options to change the colors. You can do 2 blinks and it will cycle through slowly. You can cycle through all the colors slowly. Or if you do 3 blinks, normally that would set you to your force effect or your quotes, but these Saberforge electronic sabers aren't giving you that. It actually lets you choose between all the different colors more quickly. So it's still cycling through slowly. If I get a color that I like, just tap the button once and it'll set there at that color. Hold for 3 blinks. And now it's changing to the color instantaneously. And it sits there for about a second. So once you get to a color that you like, just tap that button and it'll stay there and save it for you. When you change fonts, the same color will remain. So if you want different colors for different fonts, you will have to cycle through and choose your next color again, manually. You have your clashes. Blaster deflection with 1 tap. 1 blink for lockup. Tap again to release. And then hold to power off. If you want to change fonts, just press and hold until you hear the next font or the next boot sound come out.
Scavenger.
This is Ray. So notice it stayed on that blue color that I had set on the previous font. So if I want to cycle through, I can either do 2 blinks for a slow cycle or 3 blinks for a quick instant cycle. And now we're on our Ray color here, yellow. You do have some different blade effects, and you can also change the volume as well between mute, low, and loud.
Mute.
So one blink will change the volume, and you do this while the saber is powered off. So here's mute, so there's no sound. You still get your effects going on, but you don't have any sound. Next will be low sound.
Volume high.
Oh, sorry. High volume. It is much louder, but I find that the quality of the sound is not as good. So I prefer to keep mine on low.
Volume low.
You can change the blade effects. So right now, I'm on a slow pulse. Actually, it's a quicker pulse. If you can look at the table here, you can see how the colors getting bright and dim very quickly. 2 blinks can change that effect.
Steady.
So now it's steady. So the blade will just be one solid color and brightness and not change. As you can see there. I believe there's also an unstable.
Unstable.
And this is going to be more of your Kylo Ren type effect. However, it's just going to blink very rapidly. It has a much better effect to the naked eye. Right now, because of the camera, you're kind of seeing it more of like a pulsy wave. But it's more like a strobe light effect that's really, really rapid. That is actually my least favorite, to be honest. I prefer to just have a regular NeoPixel to give me that type of effect. But the pulse is my favorite. It looks very natural the way that kind of dims and looks brighter. So I do think that overall these Eco Sabers are really nice, and it just seems like each generation that is released gets better and better and better. Now, there are 3 new Eco Sabers. That's the Fallen Order, the Commando, and the Defiant. Those 3, for some reason, are ASP compatible, but the original designs, like the Defender here, are not ASP compatible. So you cannot make any other parts on this unless you swap it out with another Eco Saber. One thing I wish they would do is release an Eco Coupler so we could make staffs out of these. I think that'd be really cool if they did that, but who knows, maybe one day. I'm not sure if this plays music, I can't remember.
Princess.
No, so it just changes to the next font. Now, one thing that I have to say is that in the past, these LGT electronics that they used for Saberforge were garbage. But now, the core that they have now, what LGT Studios has done for Saberforge on their Eco Sabers is much better than any other companies that I've seen thus far. The smooth swing is great, or maybe I just got lucky and just got a good board. But the smooth swing on this is great. Darth Paradigm's, his was really good too. The quality of sound is good, especially if the volume is on low. You have all the effects. Honestly, I don't need the quotes. I like to be able to cycle through the colors instantaneously after the 3 blinks. But all in all, great saber. If you're on a budget, $150, and you've got a quality saber that gives you all the effects that you need, and it really gets the job done. So that's all I have on the Defender Eco Saber. If you have any questions, just leave that in the comment down below, and I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.